Hello, welcome to Senior Yoga. My name is Barbara. I'll be your teacher today. Lisa and I are co-teachers at the Senior Center in Londonderry, and because of COVID and so many of the people that we work with weren't able to gather for obvious reasons, this was an alternative, and we're fortunate enough to be able to use the cable station. So just follow along. If you're new to yoga, I give a lot of comments and direction, modifications. Yoga is something that you can do right up until forever. There's always a posture that you'll get a benefit out of, and just enjoy. I focus on alignment and breathing, which is very important as we get older for our balance. So starting, we just get into a simple seated posture. I like to sit on a little bit of a wedge. You can sit on a block or even a pillow or a blanket that's folded. Just brings the hips up a little bit, allows the hips to relax. Roll the shoulders down, hands are softened, resting on your legs. If this is not comfortable, you can actually stretch your legs straight out. And then close the eyes, lengthen up through the torso, navel to spine, always supporting the torso, and focusing on our breath as we breathe in and out through the nose. Just quieting the mind and the body, taking a few rounds of breath. And as you do, we're softening the facial muscles, relaxing the shoulders. Let the weight of the arms just bring those shoulders away from the ears, lengthening up through the spine. Relax your hands, your hips. Just breathing in and breathing out. Nice, gentle rhythm, nothing forced, nothing labored. We never go beyond the edge of a stretch. Working in tandem, matching the breathing with the motion. So actually, yoga is like meditation in motion. Think of your head reaching up, lengthening through the spine so the head is reaching toward the ceiling. Your hips and your bottom are connected to the earth, anchoring you, so you're stretching in two directions. One more breath. And then bringing the palms together and joining the thumbs to the heart. We'll open our eyes and go into our first heart opener. So we'll inhale up. Let the shoulders relax. Keep a bend in the elbows. Opening the heart. And then release as we come up, joining the palms overhead, and exhale to the heart. From here, we'll take your right hand, bring it to the mat. The other arm is coming down to the opposite side. So we're going to take the left arm. On our inhalation, we're lifting to the center, keeping the shoulders in line with the long side of the mat. As we exhale, we'll gently tilt to the right. And if you can, keep a straight arm. That gives you a better stretch. But again, working with shoulders, just being mindful we don't go into pain. Take another breath. On the next inhalation, we'll come back up. Drop the arm. Bring the other arm up. Exhale over now to the left. Nice length from the hip all the way up to the fingertips. Inhale up. And exhale. So we're using our breath to control the motion. The last time that we come to the right, we're going to hold for 3 rounds of breath. On the next inhalation, we're just going to release this top shoulder keeping a bend in the elbow. I'm going to lower that elbow below the shoulder line, and I like to look down to the right to the mat. That actually opens up this part, the top of the shoulder, and into the neck. This will take 2 or 3 rounds of breath. We hold a lot of tension in the neck and shoulder area, so I usually like to start by loosening up and relaxing those muscles. And then we'll drop the arm and come back up. Inhale and exhale over to the opposite side. 3 rounds of breath. And now we'll open this shoulder again. Coming back to center. I'm going right into Sufi circle. So you can place your hands either on top of your legs. We never really put any pressure on our knees. We try to take good care of the knees. Or you can bring your hands right down onto the mat. And I'm going to pop off of my wedge so that I can connect my sits bones to the mat. And you're shifting forward, keeping a nice long spine. So you're drawing a circle with your torso. And again, just let your back and hips tell you the size. So maybe small circles will work better today, especially if things are a little tight. I exhale at the bottom of the circle, inhale at the top. Doing about 5 circles in this direction. One more circle. And then we come back to beginning and then pause and then just reverse to the opposite side. So we're using both sets of muscles. All the while I have navel to spine, always using our core throughout the practice. One more circle. As we come back to center, we're moving right into cobbler. So you're just going to take your feet and extend them, joining the soles of the feet together. Now, you want to relax the knees. So I have blocks. I find these are wonderful tools to use in your practice. You can use them or just keep them handy. I always keep them at the top of the mat so that I can reach them easily. And we'll start by just lengthening up, shoulders relaxed. As we exhale, shifting forward just to the edge of your stretch. And if this is not comfortable, you can just kind of make a diamond shape out of your legs that just releases the hip a little bit more. And then once you're at the edge of your stretch, we're just going to round the chin to the chest, relax everything, take 5 rounds of breath. And you'll notice that the muscles in the back are expanding as the lungs expand with every inhalation, and then as you exhale, everything goes back into place. And we're trying to shift the torso toward the feet. So again, just go to the edge of the stretch. On the next inhalation, we'll lift the head and then the torso, stretching out your right leg. Bring the left foot in. Now you can bring your foot into the side of the extended leg. If the knee doesn't point straight up to the ceiling, just bring that foot out to the side. You can even cross it over as long as the knee is still pointing straight up. Give yourself a hug below the left leg. The left hand comes right behind, so as comfortably close to the back as possible. Shoulders are relaxed. This is sage twist that we're going into, so I'm pressing out through that extended foot, getting a nice stretch coming up through that leg. And then as I exhale, I'm rotating through the center, looking over the left shoulder. So as you stretch, the top of the head is in the back is lengthening up towards the ceiling. You can stretch this right shoulder by bringing that elbow beyond with the hand facing out, the palm facing out, or if that's a little too much for the shoulder, bring it to the inside of that leg. And we're going to take about 4 more breaths. So as we're rotated, we're actually giving the inner organs a nice gentle squeeze. Actually helps circulation and also a little bit of cleansing. Sometimes the toxins get trapped inside the organs. So everything in yoga is to benefit the body. And 2 more breaths. And then as we come back to center, I'm just going to lengthen that leg, go right to the opposite side. Again, lengthening, navel to spine, looking over now the right shoulder. We'll take that left hand and go into a nice long length of the spine, gazing over the right shoulder, pushing out through that extended left leg. It's like you're trying to push something away with your heel. You get a stretch coming right up through the underside of that leg. Two more breaths. And then as we release, we're just coming into cat and cow. So coming onto our hands and knees. And the alignment, your hands are right under your shoulders, fingers and thumbs are spread. Now if this is too much for the wrist, use your block so that you have, it brings you up a little bit higher. So that's one modification. Another one that I use is that I actually go onto the broad knuckle so that, and my thumbs are facing each other, but the fingers are pointing back towards my torso. My knees are right underneath my hips, shoulders relaxed, and as I exhale, moving up into cat, I'm going to drop the chin to the chest and work all the way through all the parts of the spine, articulating the spine as it's just arching the back up like a Halloween cat. And then as we inhale, I'm going to drop the center, relax the shoulders. As I look forward, I'm raising the tailbone. So now we've reversed the curvature of the spine. So this is cow. Exhale back into cat. Inhale, right into cow. We're going to do 3 more sets using your breath. Coming back to table. From here, we're going into an extended table. Now I find that sometimes when the wrists are really sore or the hands are sore, you can again use your block to come down onto the forearm. So we'll start first by stretching your right leg back. And again, you're pressing through the heel. So you have the option of either rocking back and forth onto the ball of the foot, or you can just hold that stretch if it feels good. Just a couple of more breaths. Now from here, on the next exhalation, I'm elevating that leg so that it's coming straight out from the hip. We don't want it higher than the hip. It's like a tabletop, so we want everything from the heel to the top of the head. And then we're extending the left arm so that we're using the core, bringing that navel to spine. If this is a little uncomfortable, you can also bring the arm, the extended arm, out to the side. That helps as well. Returning the hand to the mat, we're just going to take that extended right leg, slide it behind us, keeping it straight, connecting the ball of the foot to the mat, or a little bit off the mat in this case. Now, there's a tendency to lean over toward the direction that you just brought that leg. You want to keep the hips level over the mat. And again, so now we're just going to peek over that left shoulder at that right foot. And you're opening up the rib cage on the right side, from the hip really all the way up through the rib cage. Nice opening. Bringing the head back first, and then we'll return that knee back to the mat, stretching now the opposite leg. We always balance ourselves out so that the body gets a complete healthy stretch. And now from here, we'll elevate that leg with our exhalation, and then bring that opposite arm. So we're working with, it's called the union of opposites. Return the hand to the mat, swing that leg off now to the right, and then peeking over the right shoulder. One more breath. Return the head to center. And now bringing this knee back to the mat. I'm going to connect my big toes, open those knees out, and we're going into child pose. Child pose is a nice restorative posture. It's a resting, so you can at any time in your practice, and you're shifting the tailbone back toward the heels, drop the forearms to the mat. Now you have a couple of options. If the back is allowing you to bring your forehead to the mat, that's fine. If the back is a little stiff, you can use your block, or a heavy, a large hardcover book will also suffice if you don't have a block. And you can put a towel underneath, rolled up, and that also helps support. If you want a deeper stretch, you can bring those arms a little bit forward. So this is called extended child. One more breath. Even in this posture, the fingers are spread, so we're always displacing any of the pressure on the hands. Now from here, we're going into pigeon pose. Pigeon pose is really good for hips. And I like to use a mat to put under the leg that I'm stretching back. So I'm going to slide the right knee forward, and you can keep it right here, or you can angle that right foot so that it's just a little bit off to the left, right underneath the left hip bone. And then come down. So this is your, and then stretch this leg back as far as you can. The top of that left leg the foot is right on the mat. Shoulders are relaxed. So we start in this position. This is the high position, or you can come down into a lower position, okay? And if this is not comfortable, then use your blocks. And it's kind of a nice medium, but you're still getting the benefit. And again, you're keeping the hips centered over the mat, so we're not leaning from one side or the other. And then relax the shoulders, take in a few rounds of breath. The longer you hold the posture, you'll find a lot of times the muscles will trust the posture. Now we're coming back into a high position. You have two options to release. So you can either bring that front knee back, or you can bring the back leg forward, whatever works best. And we're just going to go to the other side now. So I will start. And again, I'm trying to keep everything in line with the hips and shoulders. And again, slowly coming down. I can stay here in the high position, or I can come down into a lower position. And take 5 rounds of breath. If you find that you are holding your breath, we recommend that you don't, but if you find that or your breathing becomes labored, it means that you're trying too hard, you're forcing the body, it's probably not willing to go into that particular motion. So now we're going to come back to our table, and we're going to start by, you can bring yourself up a couple of ways. One is, if it's really difficult, or challenging, I like to put it that way, sounds better. You can take one leg, bend the knee, and the knee is always over the ankle. We avoid hyperextending because that's putting a lot of pressure on your knee and on your ankle as well. So from here, you can tuck the back toe and then lift, and then step forward, bring your hands above the knee and come up. The other way, which I come up through a flat back. So flat back, I'm in hands and knees. I'm going to walk my hands back towards my torso, tuck my toes so that the balls of the feet are on the mat. From here, I'm shifting up. Now, as I'm shifting up onto the balls of the feet, I have to move my hands back further toward the torso. My knees are bent, and then I'm going to bring my hand one at a time, either to the shins, or you can bring them above the knee, and then straighten the legs, relax the shoulders. Now from here, I am lengthening from the tailbone to the top of my head. So this is about the back and navel to spine. So I always tease my students that I could put a cup of tea on your back and it wouldn't slide off. And now we're going to come up into a standing posture. Bring your one hand to one hip, the other hand to the other, and rotate through the hips into a standing posture. Alrighty. So we're going to go into a forward fold series. And the forward fold, this is all about the back. We're warming up the body as in the beginning of the practice. And so the forward fold series, I'm going to use my block. It's all about the back, so you bend your knees. You don't have to worry about the hamstrings. So I start in mountain position. So the shoulders are rolled, hands down by the side. Feet are connected. In fact, I even close my eyes. Tailbone tucked under, navel to spine. Just feel the posture. We're in mountain pose. And then as we proceed into a forward fold, we're going to bring the arms up and then open. So we're leading with the heart. As we bend through the hips, I'm going to put a little bend in the knees. I'm bringing my palms either to the floor or to a block, and the head hangs straight down. This is forward fold. As I inhale, I'm going to transfer my hands to the shins and bring the torso up to a 90-degree angle. And again, we're back into a flat back. Exhale into forward fold. Reverse swan dive, arms coming out to the side as I press through the feet, lifting the torso, making that circle, and joining the palms over the head. Exhale to the heart. And so we'll do 2 more sets. Inhaling up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Reverse swan dive. Exhale to the heart. And again, inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Reverse swan dive. Exhale to the heart. Alrighty, so we're going to do some standing postures now. And I'm going to bring a chair over because sometimes balance is great and other times it's just not. And so if you have a sturdy, in fact even something that's even heavier than this would be better. Okay, so we're going to do tree posture. And tree posture is a balance. So you take a cleansing round of breath, inhale up, exhale to the heart. So we connect the thumbs to the heart. This is called prayer hands or Anjali Mudra. And then if you're just using it without any tools, you can bring your right leg up towards the standing leg, or in this case, reverse of you, so it would be your left knee would bend with the heel just touching the ankle and the ball of the foot. Or you can bring it up higher onto the calf, knees out to the side, so we're opening up that hip. And there are people that can bring it up higher, but this is usually the average way of doing tree. And you're lifting up through this supporting hip. If we sink the hip down, this hip goes up, you're going to lose your balance. And so if you're using a wall or a chair, you want to keep this other arm, the left arm, straight, or you can use your wall. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to go back to a small tree. To release, I'm going to bring the bent knee forward and then step down. So that aligns the hip. And then we'll take another breath and exhale to the heart. Find that if I'm off the mat, sometimes that throws me off. And going into a tree, so we're going to go to the opposite side. Again, navel to spine, lifting out of the supporting hip, shoulders relaxed, into our tree posture. Again, to release, bring that knee forward and step down, shake it out. All right. I'd like to do some warriors, but I want to show you something that you can do if the warriors, you want to warm up to them. When we do a sun salutation, which is something I'll do in the next lesson, it's a little more strenuous. So this is something that you can use to get the benefit of, instead of doing a downward facing dog in a plank posture, you can use either a wall or, in this case, I'm using a chair. So the feet are under the hips. Okay, so I'm going to start, and I'm just going to rest my hands here. Okay, so plank, I'm going to shift forward, and as I do, I'm lengthening through the torso, shoulders relaxed, and I'm pressing my feet into the floor. Now, if I'm using a wall, it would be like this. So the tailbone is in one straight line, right from the tailbone to the top of the head. So this would be a modified plank. To go into a, we call puppy, which would be the modification for downward facing dog, you would shift your tailbone away. Now I bend the knees just a little bit, and the arms are straight out from the shoulders. Sometimes you have to adjust them down a little bit because your head comes between the upper arms and you're gazing at your toes. Now, if you don't want to use the wall or you don't have one, you can hold the back of a chair or a couch, and you're getting the same benefit. I have long arms, so I'm just going to back up a little bit. And again, I'm stretching the tailbone as far away comfortably from my hands. And again, my hands are soft, feeling a good stretch. And then I shift, so I take 3 rounds of breath, and then on the next exhalation I'm coming up, or inhalation I should say, and then as I exhale I'm shifting back into plank. So now the shoulders are relaxed, I'm gazing straight ahead. And now exhale back into puppy. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, back into plank. So you're really getting a good stretch from the heels right up through the torso. And the shoulders are also getting some work as well. One more breath. And then exhale into your puppy, the last one, promise. One more breath. And I'm trying not to sit in the back of my knees either. I've got a slight bend to the knee so that it's soft. And now I'm going to shift up, back into plank. And now to release, once I'm in the plank, now I can take the right foot forward and then the left. And then I can release so that you're not putting any strain on your back. So from here, we're going to do some warrior work. So we'll start by, and move this a bit. Okay, so I don't hit my head. All right, so inhale up, exhale to the heart. Take a breath. Inhale, forward fold, come all the way down into your forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Reverse swan dive. And exhale to the heart. We're going to go into warrior one. So I'm going to take my right leg. I'm going to slide it heel first so that the toes on both feet are pointing to the short line at the edge of the mat. The front knee is right over that ankle, so if you find you're hyperextending, it means you need to slide that back foot just a little bit further back. If you feel a little wobbly, heel toe, so lift the heel and then lift the toe in that front leg, so that just a little bit wider stance. And then once you've planted those feet, navel to spine, then inhale the arms up, palms are facing, shoulders relaxed, pressing into both feet. Warrior one. Moving into warrior two. On the inhalation, I'm lengthening. As I exhale, now I'm leading with the right hand as I turn the back, so the right foot now is going to turn so it's parallel with the short end of the mat, so that my hips and my shoulders in line with the length of this mat. And I've opened up into warrior two. Shoulders are relaxed. Again, still pressing, but that front foot stays pretty much, it's still pointing to the top. Warrior two, two more breaths. And you're looking out over the extended arm. Hands are soft, shoulders relaxed. Moving into exalted warrior. On the inhalation, I'll turn that left palm up. As I exhale, I'm going to bring that arm up to the ceiling, dropping the right hand so it's resting on the back thigh. I can look up at that palm, or I can turn and look over the back shoulder down to the mat. So again, I'm going to make sure this arm doesn't come forward. So I want to keep that stretch coming up to the side. So this is exalted warrior. Moving into side angle, so we come back through center with our inhalation. And then as we exhale, I'm going to bend the front elbow, bringing the wrist to the very top part of my leg, and then the other arm comes straight up, so that you're actually keeping a nice long line from that heel all the way up to the fingertips. And again, we keep this top shoulder from coming forward so that we have a nice alignment. Coming back through center, we're going into a triangle, so I'm going to straighten that front knee, shift the back hip away, reach with the front arm, And now as we go into triangle, I'm going to drop that arm so the back of the hand is resting up against that leg, and the other arm comes right up to the ceiling. So this is triangle. Using your inhalation to come back up through center, and then we'll exhale into reverse triangle. So we drop the top arm so it's resting. The other arm comes up by the ear. Again, so it's just changing the arms. Coming back to center, hands to heart. So heel toe. So in order to bring this foot forward, my legs, I like to keep a nice wide stride, but I might lose my balance. So what I'm going to do is lift the heel, then lift the toe. So there's a part of my foot connected to the mat at all times. And then once I have a little better sense of being centered, I'm just going to step that foot to the top. Take a breath. Exhale to the heart. Okay, I'm going to turn this way because I don't like my back to you. And we're going to do the other side of the body with our warriors. So we'll start with the forward fold, flat back, which is just a nice intro. It also helps keep the back nice and warmed up. So inhale up, exhale, forward fold. Don't be afraid to bend those knees. Inhale, flat back, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. Reverse swan dive. And exhale to the heart. Now moving the left foot back into warrior one. And again, we don't have to hurry, just get a moment to settle in. And then once you're connected, bring the arms up, shoulders relaxed, palms facing. You can look forward, you can look up. Depends on what how the neck feels. So envision yourself keeping the shoulders and the hips in alignment with the short end of the mat on warrior one. Then as we transition into warrior two, we're going to now bring that left arm back as we now adjust the back foot, but the front leg stays pretty much where it is. Relax the shoulders. Now we're in warrior two. You can take a peek at that front heel. It should be lined up with the arch of the back foot. And from here, pressing both feet in like you're trying to rip that mat in two pieces, but lengthening up through the spine. So we're stretching in different directions. The arms are reaching straight out from the torso. And breathe. Preparing now for exalted warrior. Inhale, turn the palm up. Exhale, float that arm up, let the back arm relax, gazing up. So different parts of the body that we don't stretch come into play. This is so wonderful about yoga. It just works with all parts of the body, opening up areas that are tight or tense, releasing tension, and really increasing your circulation. There's like 36 benefits from the practice of yoga. It's amazing. It even boosts your immune system. And now from here on our exhalation, we're going to move right into the side angle. So again, we bend that front elbow, rest the top of the hip, bring the back arm up. So we have a nice long line. It's a little bit of a slant, keeping those shoulders in line with the long side of the mat. I like to think of myself between two panes of glass. So if you bring that shoulder forward, you're going to break the glass. So we want to keep it nice and aligned. And you feel this beautiful stretch coming right up out of that hip. And then inhale back through center, straighten the front knee, moving into triangle. So the front arm comes up by the ear, back arm just resting. Another way of stretching. Coming back through center. Inhale, exhale into reverse triangle. Again, we're flowing from one posture to the next. We don't have to move, it doesn't do any good to move so quickly. I think the muscles get more benefit from a nice gentle flow along with the breath, moving from one posture to the next. And coming back to center, bring the hands to heart. Okay, so I'm going to heel toe my back foot in, and I'm going to turn that toe out because I want to come to the top of the mat. And we're going to come down onto the mat now. Just do a couple more postures before we go into Savasana. So I'm going to start by going into a ragdoll. So ragdoll, I'm just going to let my hands come down. Take a breath, and as you continue breathing, we're just going to slowly drop the chin to the chest. And now we're curling the back as we round the shoulders down. It's like you're collapsing down upon yourself. And the arms are sliding down the torso, through the legs. Again, just get to the edge, to the point where you're going to have to stop bending the knees. Head is hanging, make believe it's like 30 pounds. Once I can put my palms onto the mat, before I do that, I'm just going to let everything just hang. Now, if this is too much, you can grab the forearms, bring them above the knee, and let it hang. So that gives your back a little more support. And you can nod your head, yes and no, or you can make little circles with the arms. And now I'm going to connect my palms, and then drop one knee to the mat, and then the other. And we're going to come right down onto our backs. So coming into a seated posture. And a nice way of getting down onto the mat is just hold the back of your hamstrings and then slowly lower yourself down. Okay. From here, we're going into what we call a half lotus hip opener. And I'm going to show you how to use your blocks. Put the other one right here. Okay, so just like to have everything lined up. So I'm going to bend the left knee, and the knee is coming straight out like a straight line from the hip. And I'm going to bend the right leg and cross the leg over the bottom leg, but I bring the ankle beyond the leg. So it's like you made like a right angle out of your right leg. Now, without using the blocks, you would bring the left knee back toward the left shoulder, take your right hand, put it through that opening you just created with the right leg, and then join the palms on top of your left shin, sorry about that. And I'm flexing to the heel. And I want to line the left knee with the left shoulder. Now, if that's too much, you've got a couple of options. You can use a strap and place the strap like through here and around the back of your hamstring and then pull the strap back. Or you can use your blocks, and the blocks really come in handy. So what I'm going to do is place them so that they're in direct line with the hip. Place my foot on the top. Now I don't have to use my hands at all, and I can just focus on opening up this right hip. So you have the two options. It's a little deeper doing it with the hands. Shoulders are relaxed, and you actually are pressing out through that top heel. That activates the stretch as well. So we'll hold for 2 or 3 rounds more. And this is a good time to notice your breathing. It should be gentle, not strained. Maybe as the muscles relax a little bit, you can bring that knee a little closer to the torso. Again, never going beyond the edge of a stretch, just listening to the body. That's very key in yoga, is always being mindful of how your body responds. And now we're just going to gently release. And before we go to the other side, just going to stretch both legs out, just to kind of give them a little release. You feel that one leg is probably longer than the other. Now we'll bend the right foot on the mat with the knee bent, and then cross the left leg over again. Now again, you've got the option, this time I'll use the blocks. and I try to align the block so that it's right in line with my hip. And I'm getting a good stretch right now, and I'm just going to lean a little bit to the right so that my right knee is in line with my right shoulder. My arms are perfectly relaxed, and I'm getting a great stretch in here, in the hip flexor area. And again, we're going to press through the heel of that top foot. And breathe. To get a little deeper stretch, I can bring that right foot in a little closer to the torso or not. Depends on how the body's feeling, and everybody's flexibility is different, so it's a very individual practice, what I love about yoga. Everybody gets benefit. That's why we have modifications, and there are people that do yoga right up until the end of their life, so you just keep modifying, but you're getting the same benefit. Couple more breaths. Just want to make sure we have enough time for Savasana. That's always the best part. One more breath. And now we'll gently release. You can hold those postures as long as, maybe up to about 10 breaths. So it depends on, I usually start off slow. And now we're going to go into what I call windshield wipers. So you're opening your feet up nice and wide. So each foot is on a long side of the mat. And the reason for that is as you drop the knees to one side in unison, the hips are also getting a beautiful release. And then come up through center. And I like to inhale at this point as I'm going through center, and then exhale into the opposite side. Maybe take a couple of rounds of breath. If it feels good, hold for 2 or 3 rounds, maybe longer. Come back up through center, inhale. Keep breathing as we just gently, you also get a nice stretch on the top of the quadricep as well. And a release on the lower back. That's another area that gets tight. So this is a nice gentle way of just releasing and relaxing, and also cooling down your practice. Couple more sets. Okay. And from here we're going to go into legs up the wall. So I like to use a block. You can use a pillow. Sometimes the block is maybe not as cushiony as you'd like. A pillow will work beautifully. You can even sit on your hands, although I don't particularly care for that one. But you want to, anytime you're using a block for, a support, especially on the spine, you don't go on the spine, you go on the lower part of the back, right around the tailbone, and then just lift the feet straight up and let gravity do all the work. So this actually helps the body, the upper part of the body, actually get more circulation. It's got a lot of benefits. If you have headaches, because there's better circulation up in the front, sometimes that stimulates the sinuses to let go of some of the fluid that's trapped there. It's also good for insomnia. It's good for tired legs. It also, from what I understand, because there's more circulation going through the glands and the organs, it's like they get the glands get a recharge, and they also get cleansed. So this is nice. And the only thing I would suggest is if you've had like acid reflux or a heart condition, or implants, having implants in your eyes. So you'd only do it for about a minute because you don't want too much pressure on the in the eyes, or activating any acid reflux. So when you're ready, you just bring the feet down very gently, lift the hips, and then just lower the spine nicely. Okay, we've got time for one more. I just want to show you one more before we go into it. And this is called two-footed pose, and this is also an inversion. So I'm going to use my block. You can use either the block or not. I'll show you without first. So the hands can be anywhere. They can be out from the shoulder. They can be down beside you. And we're just going to roll up through the spine as we lift the hips, and you're right up onto the back of the tops of the shoulders. And the knees are parallel, and this is two-footed pose. Now, you might want to have a modified. So I'm going to take, you can do it at any height, and put the block right again at the base of the spine, you know, where the tailbone is. And now you can relax, but you're still getting the benefit because you created a line from the knees to the neck, always making sure you have enough room around the neck so you could like put an apple or an orange under there so that your breathing isn't compromised in any way. And this is your modification for two-footed pose. So now I'm going to release that. We would hold that for a few rounds of breath. And what I like to do, so here I am, I took the prop out from underneath, and then I'm just going to roll slowly, like I'm stretching my back, one vertebra at a time, onto the mat, so it's getting a good long stretch. And the last part of the spine would be the tailbone connecting. Okay, and then lengthen one leg, and then the other. And we're ready for Savasana. Just enough time. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come into a seated posture so that you can hear me. And Savasana is a total relaxation. It's the benefit of all the practice that you've done so far. It's like the cherry on a sundae. It's really great. And most people find that it might be a little challenging in the beginning because what you're doing is you're completely quieting the body and the mind. And a lot of times the mind is thinking all these things, oh, the shopping list, what I got to do when I get home. And in Savasana, you're quieting the mind. So if the thoughts come in, you just kind of focus on breathing in and breathing out. You can be either sitting or laying down. Personally, I always like laying down best. If you are seated, if you can come up against maybe your back up against a wall or something that won't move, that'll give you a little better support, that's nice too. And you close your eyes. So you want to just focus within. So this is a meditation, and as you're breathing in and out through the nose, just taking a few rounds of breath, notice how you're feeling right now. No judgments, just noticing. Keeping the rhythm nice and gentle. And then starting at the top of the head, relax your top of your head, the crown. Relax your forehead. Soften around your eyes, your mouth. Relax your tongue and your jaw. Relax the back of your head, down through the neck. Allow the relaxation to flow across your shoulders. And then start cascading down through the arms, bringing with it any tension or stress or tightness. Down through the elbows, through the forearms, flowing into the wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs. Let everything feel soft and heavy. In your mind's eye, let all that stress and tightness just flow off the fingertips. Just release it. Starting with the collarbone, relax across the chest, and down through the rib cage, down into the stomach, flowing into the abdomen, allowing the breath to filter through. And then relax your hips and your whole pelvic area. From the back of the shoulder line and all the way down the spine. Relax all the muscles in the back. Allow those muscles to feel soft and heavy. It's almost like they're melting. Relax your buttocks. And starting at the tops of the legs, relax your quads and your hamstrings. Down through the knees. Relax your shins and your calves. Right down through the ankles. Flowing through the foot, the top, the bottom, into the toes, the whole body relaxed, resting, feeling a sense of peace and serenity. There's nothing you have to do right now, just breathe. And by relaxing the mind and the body, it allows the healing properties of your breath, they call it prana, to move gently through the body, healing and restoring, relaxing, refreshing, removing tension, tightness, aches, toxins. With every exhalation, release that into the atmosphere. And if a thought comes into the mind, just let it flow through and let it go. Coming back to now I'm breathing in and now I'm breathing out. Continuing, giving yourself permission to just be. Everything's going to wait for you. This is your nurturing of your body, your self-care. Maybe a release from just the hectic motions of the day, the events of the day. Maybe surround yourself with a beautiful healing white light, feeling very protected and safe. So hold for about three more minutes. And just think with every exhalation, just releasing. Couple more breaths. And then taking your time, moving gently, fingers and toes. Maybe a yawn or a stretch. And when you're ready, coming into a seated posture, bringing the hands together and connecting the thumbs to your heart. Take a couple more breaths as we prepare to close our practice. And then bringing the thumbs to the third eye, which is between your eyebrows. Seeing your truth to your lips, speaking your truth, coming back to the heart, connecting our heart to truth through loving kindness and compassion toward all living beings everywhere, and that includes ourselves. Thank you for joining me. It's been a pleasure. Hope to see you again soon. Stay safe. Namaste.